What do you see as the main priority when it comes to cutting carbon emissions from the transport sector?
Well, we must set adequate carbon prices in transport, which is really not the case in quite a few of the transport modes. And we must have good regulations on the efficiency of vehicles and the carbon impact of fuels. And unfortunately, this white paper that the Commission has today proposed doesn't hint towards any of those suggestions.
What do you think is wrong with it?
Well, let me start with things that are moderately good about it. For the first time, we have something like a greenhouse gas target in the transport sector. That previously it was always very much unclarity about who should do what. And today the Commission has created a bit more clarity. But it has done so rather grudgingly because if you look at the actual measures that are going to be taken according to this white paper in order to hit those targets, they are nowhere near enough to make that difference. So, you know, it does have targets, but it doesn't have the measures, and it talks about a lot of good ideas, but it essentially doesn't commit towards implementing them, and it puts them towards the next Commission, basically.
You're basically seeing it as a half-hearted compromise.
It's a rather empty shell, unfortunately. One thing that also suggests that this Commission is not going to do much is that until the period of 2030, this book actually says we're going to cut emissions by 1% a year of transport, which is nowhere near enough. And then between 2030 and 2050, suddenly, magically, we're going to reduce these emissions by 5% a year, 5 times as fast, which clearly suggests that the Commission is waiting for some kind of magic silver bullet that will solve the problem for them. And we all know that these silver bullets won't come if there's not a lot of political pressure.
Why do you think there has not been enough of that pressure that you would like to have seen on the Commission to make a better proposal?
I think there has been an internal pressure from the Climate Department of the Commission, but the Transport Department still thinks that it can get away without taking serious measures to reduce the carbon footprint, and it's their paper. So in the end, it's more or less, you know, them that are responsible for putting this out, and it's clear that they sense far less urgency than all the climate scientists and the Climate Department of the Commission, and even less political will to actually take some difficult measures.
We're going to see a big debate now. It sounds like you very much believe this is clearly a missed opportunity for the European Commission. What would you have considered as a very positive white paper then?
A white paper that sets ambitious targets for the short term, for 2030, ambitious targets, so something like a reduction in greenhouse gas emissions rather than an increase compared to 1990 levels, as it's currently doing, and the necessary measures to attain those, such as getting rid of all the subsidies and tax exemptions on the aviation sector, and to get more serious on road pricing as well. And last but not least, there's not a hint in this paper that the alternative fuels that this white paper so heavily relies on, like biofuels, might have a little problem in terms of sustainability, and that there is a big need to solve that problem of biofuels before you can drastically expand its use. So, you know, on the pricing side and on the fuel side, I think there's major shortcomings in this white paper.
You talked about carbon pricing at the beginning of your interview, one of your first answers. What would you like to have seen? Would you like to have the transport sector be included in the emissions trading system?
No, not at all. We want to see an ambitious energy tax directive proposal that finally makes it possible to tax kerosene from aviation, and to do something on the maritime sector. Due to opposition of the Transport Department that has now today put out this paper with all these carbon targets, that is very unlikely to happen. We believe that the future for low carbon transport lies more in taxation measures than including it in the ETS. 15 euros a ton of CO2 is not going to change our transport system the way that's necessary.
Final question, of course, this is a white paper, it's not a directive yet. What hopes do you have for a directive to be tabled that will be much stronger than what we are seeing now?
Well, that remains to be seen. Of course, on all the individual measures that are going to be taken over the next years, we will, regardless of what this white paper says, we will advocate the solutions that we believe in. So it's fortunately only the beginning of a story, but it's not a very hopeful start.